What I'm about to tell you sounds unbelievable, and I never thought these words would come from my mouth. But the American jihadist groups have taken hold in America in such a way that has caused and threatened the Israel summit that we were to hold in Dallas.
They just had to shut down the event. They had to cancel it last minute because of threats from radical Islamic jihadists. That's the reality.
Security levels became so high, the risk assessment and the analysis that was done as to the risk to the event was so high that there was a security level mandated that was impossible to work with.
It appears that the pro-Hamas forces got their claws in.
Guys, I'm scared. I'm scared for this generation of Americans who are growing up thinking it's okay for a young couple to be murdered in cold blood outside of a Holocaust museum in Washington, D.C., simply for the fact that they were Jewish. Or it's okay for a radical Egyptian man to throw Molotov cocktails at a group of peaceful supporters of Israel, and then for the mainstream media to write sob stories about how this man's daughter is now facing deportation, even though they were living illegally in America for almost 3 years prior to the attack. It's also okay to stand by when 1,200 Israelis were murdered in the worst ways possible on October 7th, but then cry foul when Israel used its basic right of self-defense in the Gaza Strip, and then to gather en masse in college campuses and in the streets of our cities protesting Israel's quote-unquote genocide. I'm scared because something that should have been condemned by everyone across the board is now being excused, minimized, or even ignored. The silence surrounding the deaths of Jews is deafening. What about just this week? Our second annual Israel summit that we had been planning for months was indefinitely postponed after 2 different venues were deemed either unsafe or unfeasible due to massive security concerns and from receiving actual threats from violent jihadist groups. How is it somehow okay that you can't hold a peaceful pro-Israel event in America without having the absolute highest levels of security? How have we come so far that Jews or those who support them and the nation of Israel are not safe in America? America was built on the core principles of freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Today, those very freedoms are at serious risk of being entirely lost. This is not the America that we grew up in. Guys, this is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. It didn't just happen in the blink of an eye where the Nazis turned against the Jews and they all of a sudden had the backing of the church, or at the very least, the silence of the church. No, it was a slow fade. And honestly, it seems like the same thing is beginning to happen in America right now before our very eyes. We need to wake up, people. Never again is right now. We are standing on a precipice, and what we do next will determine the kind of country that we become. Do we want to be remembered as the generation that let free speech be completely destroyed and let our country turn to a communist dictatorship? Or do we want to be remembered as the generation that stood up and said, "That's enough"? Guys, we know from the Bible that Israel will win in the end, and that God ultimately has an amazing plan of redemption that even now is unfolding before our eyes. But I believe that we have a choice to make. We have to decide what side of history we will be on. Will we be a part of the blessing of Abraham and bless and serve the Jewish people? Will we stand up for what is right and true and moral and godly, even if the whole world stands against it? Psalms 102 says this, "But you, O Lord, shall endure forever, and the remembrance of your name to all generations. You will arise and have mercy on Zion, for the time to favor her, yes, the set time has come. For your servants take pleasure in her stones and show favor to her dust. So the nations shall fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth your glory. For the Lord will build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. Guys, if you wholeheartedly stand with the nation and the people of Israel and also stand for free speech in America, then drop a comment down below letting us know. Things might only get harder from here, but we're not afraid and we're definitely not backing down.